Welcome to True Terror Narrative.
For the sake of clarity, I should mention that I have a hearing impairment that's left me partially deaf. Because of that, there are things in life I know I'll never fully pick up on. Yet I still replay this entire event wondering what exactly happened and if I could have handled it differently. This took place about a year ago. The holidays had just ended, and I was finally settling in after all the travel, gatherings, and chaos. I live in a small suburban neighborhood right on the edge of a forest in southern Quebec. It's a quiet place where most people know each other, which honestly gives it a warm and familiar vibe. Every winter, I like taking my dog, Monty, on walks through the forest trails. He's a Rottweiler Husky mix, perfect for someone like me since I enjoy jogging every now and then. The forest has a handful of trails, none of which are particularly hard-dotted. It was sometime in the afternoon. I had just finished a late lunch and figured a walk would help burn it off. As usual, Monty went insane with excitement once we turned the corner toward the trail entrance. It was cold for a February day. A fresh layer of snow had fallen overnight, leaving the whole path looking untouched except for a few yellow patches and some footprints, proof that a few dogs had been out earlier. Most people prefer walking before noon since the sun sits around 4, so I didn't expect to run into anyone. After maybe half an hour, we reached a split in the path. One side looked completely untouched, so feeling a little adventurous, I chose it. I know the trails well, so I wasn't worried about getting lost. This one led to a clearing, which was great because I had brought the binoculars I'd gotten for Christmas and wanted to watch the birds. I scanned the trees until I noticed something strange near the tree line, a shape that didn't belong. I focused the binoculars and saw a blue tarp and what looked like a small makeshift shelter. I was tempted to check it out, but the sky was getting darker, so I decided to turn back. Monty ran ahead like always, but his behavior felt off, more alert, nose glued to the ground. When I looked at the snow, my heart skipped. A set of footprints had appeared. They were bigger than mine, so I compared them to my boots, thinking maybe they were mine from earlier, but they didn't match. And since there were no other splits in the trail, whoever made those prints must have passed me while I was distracted with the binoculars. It seemed like the simplest explanation, so I tried not to dwell on it. By now, it was noticeably darker, but still light enough to see. As we walked, Monty suddenly froze and started barking like crazy behind me. When I turned round, I saw him. A man tall, maybe 6'4", wearing charcoal snow pants and a white combo jacket, standing barely a meter away. He didn't move toward me, didn't raise his hands, just stood there with his hands in his pockets. I didn't recognize him, so I assumed he was from out of town. He seemed to be mumbling something, but with the lighting and my hearing issues, I couldn't read his lips or tell if he was speaking English or French. I mentally kicked myself for not bringing my phone. I tried to signal that I was hard of hearing and that I was heading home because it was getting late. After that, Monty and I left. I got home round 4:30 when it was already pitch dark. I went through my nighttime routine without thinking too much about the encounter. But later that night, something happened that still rattles me. I woke up at around 3 a.m. to Monty licking my hand, which he normally does in the morning, not in the middle of the night. I checked my phone and saw a message from my neighbor asking if everything was okay because Monty had been barking non-stop. Confused, I noticed Monty wasn't even in my room anymore. I went downstairs and found him barking hysterically at the patio door. My eyes were still adjusting when the motion light clicked on. And that's when I saw him, the same man from the woods, standing in my backyard. I backed away instantly and texted 911 as fast as I ever have in my life. I rushed upstairs with Monty and grabbed the machete I keep under my bed. I'm short and have martial arts experience, but I'm not stupid. The best fight is one you avoid. I sat with Monty, both of us trembling, staring at the door. Then Monty lunged up, barking violently at the bedroom door. My palms were soaked with sweat as I saw a shadow move across the crack beneath it. The nightlight made it clear someone was right outside my room. Those minutes felt endless. I kept waiting for the handle to turn or the door to crash open. Thankfully, neither happened. When the police finally arrived, I explained everything while they searched the house. The patio glass was completely shattered. Nothing was stolen. Nothing disturbed. The backyard gate was open, the one that leads directly into the forest. I told them about the shelter I'd seen earlier. They didn't find anyone, and I never received a follow-up after that. I stayed with a family friend until the patio door was fixed. Since that night, I've changed one thing permanently. I stick to walking Monty on streets. No more forest trails. No more chances. My name's Ember. I'm 16 and live in Illinois with my 15-year-old sister, Kate. Our dad works for a deforestation company about half an hour from home. December 5th started out completely normal. Kate and I were getting ready to go see a movie together, Terrifier 3. The new horror film with all the Christmas-themed scenes. We knew it was 18 and that we technically shouldn't get in. But nobody ever questions us. We look older than our age anyway. We got to the theater with no issues and slipped into the movie without any questions. Midway through the film, right when the tension was building and everyone was holding their breath, my phone buzzed loudly enough to ruin the moment for the entire audience. Every head snapped in my direction, and the embarrassment hit me instantly. My sister and I made a quick exit, though I managed to trip on the way out, which only made everything worse. Outside the theater, I checked who called. It was my dad, but instead of phoning him back, I saw a text from him saying something along the lines of, "Hey, could you bring me lunch? The little cafe out here in the woods is closed today." Kate glanced at me, confused. But neither of us thought twice about it. It sounded like something he'd asked. We went home, packed up some food, and drove to the forest area where he worked. I always loved that place. It was secluded, peaceful, and had this beautiful hill that sloped down toward a lake, perfect for fishing and scenery photos. We parked and walked down the familiar path. I tried calling Dad to see exactly where he was, but he didn't pick up. That's when I got confused. He had just texted. Why wouldn't he answer now? I sent him a message saying we were at the woods with his food. After a moment, the typing dots appeared, and he replied, telling us to walk down the small hill and wait for him by the lake. The sun was setting quickly. It was winter, after all, and the sky was glowing this bright orange across the ridge. Before I could get lost in how pretty it looked, Kate pointed toward the lake. Someone dressed in black was sitting on the dock with their back turned toward us. We assumed it was our dad. We walked closer, stopping a short distance behind him. I called out his name. He didn't move. Kate tensed up, which instantly made the whole moment feel wrong. I reached forward and gently pulled down the hood of the man's jacket. It wasn't our dad. Both of us screamed as he suddenly spun round, waving my dad's phone round like a trophy, grinning like he was thrilled to see us frightened. I shouted at him, demanding to know why he had our dad's phone. But he didn't say a single word. Instead, he lunged and grabbed Kate's arm. She screamed, but I yanked her away with everything I had, and we both sprinted up the hill as fast as our legs could move. I'd never seen either of us run like that. The footsteps behind us were getting closer. He was chasing us. I didn't dare to look back. We made it to the car, slammed the doors, and locked them just as he reached my window. He crouched out of sight when I reversed, and I floated out of there, shaking uncontrollably the whole way home. When we got home, both of our parents were there. We were breathless, shaking, and crying as we retold everything. Dad was furious. He said his phone had been stolen earlier that day, so he cut work short and came home. Whoever that man was had taken the phone and messaged us pretending to be him. Dad called the police, and they used the IMEI number to track it. The phone was found back on the dock, but the officers said there wasn't much else they could do since the suspect wasn't there anymore. I thought things were finally done, but I wouldn't be telling this story if they were 6 hours later. Round 1 a.m., I got another message, this one from an unknown number. It said, "I like how your house is only lit by your bedroom TV." I froze. My whole body went cold. I paused the show, and in the silence, I heard rustling outside my window. My room is on the 2nd floor. I turned off my phone screen and slowly peeked through the blinds. He was there, standing outside, smiling, pointing a gun directly at my window. I screamed and dove back just as the glass exploded inward. My parents and Kate rushed in. I yelled at them to duck because he had a gun. When my dad checked outside, the man had vanished. Then another bang came from downstairs, another window shattering. We locked ourselves in the bedroom while Kate called 911. Mom held onto us while we shook, listening for footsteps, for breathing anything. I kept asking myself how he knew where we lived. A few minutes later, the police arrived and searched the house. No sign of him. When we explained everything, one of the officers said they should check the car outside. They found a small AirTag attached to my tire that explained everything. He must have stuck it there at the lake. And when he crouched at my window by the car, he wasn't hiding, he was placing the tracker. The police promised to patrol the area and investigate, but months passed with no updates. He was never found. Thankfully, he never came back. We are still traumatized, especially me. I keep replaying it in my head, wishing I had realized sooner that something felt wrong, like how Dad wasn't responding to calls, only texts. Now I refuse to go anywhere isolated, especially when I'm responsible for my sister's safety.